Her voice, her reporting, her presence familiar across the Arab world. But on the morning of May 11, 2022, the killing of Shireen Abu Akleh sent shock waves through newsrooms everywhere. The hope then was that Shireen will be the last journalist to be targeted while doing her job. But more than 3 years later, that hope has given way to frustration and grief. Multiple investigations by Al Jazeera, many other international news outlets, United Nations, and independent forensic teams all reached the same conclusion. Shireen was shot and killed by Israeli forces. The scene was calm, there was no exchange of fire, there was no gunman behind her, despite Israeli claims. Yet accountability never followed. The US administration stopped short of calling the killing intentional, describing it as a tragic result of clashes, even as evidence contradicted that description. Now, new testimony has put Washington's handling of the case under renewed scrutiny. Retired U.S. Colonel Steve Gabovics, who worked with the U.S. Security Coordinator's office, told Al Jazeera that he and the investigation team has presented the findings that it was an intentional targeting of Shireen, but the Biden administration downplayed the findings to avoid angering Israel.
I was very disappointed and very upset. My entire team was, as were many others, because what we had presenting the entire time was that this was not an accident. It was not a fog of war incident. And basically what they decided to do was to go along with the IDF had proposed to them, which was that it was a tragic accident, that it was a fog of war.
Gabovics said that during the 2 years that the report was being prepared, he repeatedly pushed for the findings to be stated clearly. But despite being the lead expert on the case, he was eventually removed from the drafting process.
I argued for literally 2 years on this. So I argued very strongly initially before the report came out, before the State Department said something on July 4th. And then following that, for the next 2 years, as the report was being written, I argued continuously. And I actually was taken off the report in working on it, even though I was the expert on it. I was actually threatened to be relieved as well if I didn't stop pushing back.
For Shireen's family, colleagues, and press freedom advocates, it's another reminder not only of how she died, but how her case has been treated since. They say Shireen was killed twice, first by the bullet, and then by the political cover-up that followed. Since her killing, Gaza has become the deadliest place for journalists anywhere in modern history. Advocates say impunity encourages repetition. When a killing faces no consequence, more follow. On International Day to End Impunity, journalists at Al Jazeera and around the world are asking the same question they asked the day Shireen was killed. Who will be held accountable and when? Resul, Serdar, Al Jazeera.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.